Saturday morning, the Experts program kicks off here on Power Talk Radio, 1460 and 101 FM. And Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, is with us once again. Luis, welcome back.
Thank you, Mark. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. So we're most of the way through the month of October. We have Halloween coming up next weekend, which will be kind of cool. You know, there's a revival of Cherry's Jubilee that's going to be held during the Air Show next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 30th and 31st. I don't know if you're going to be involved in the Air Show this year, but if you are, they'll have a bunch of classic cars out at the airport.
I heard about that. That sounds really cool. I mean, I was on the Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital Foundation board for a long time when they were still doing Cherry's Jubilee out at Laguna Seca. And it was a really, really fun event. I loved going out there and talking to people and seeing all the cars. So I'm excited to see that it's in some form it's coming back and people will be able to get out and see those beautiful cars again.
And if you're not going to be at the Air Show this weekend, but you're going to be on the peninsula Sunday, the Gateway Center is hosting their annual Rods on the Wharf car show, which will be Sunday, October 31st, and that'll be down in the Customs House Plaza.
Nice.
So, yeah. Hey, if you're going to be working from home, we have some cybersecurity tips for remote employees, and I think this is something that's really important for everyone. I know when I was working at home for a while, I got very concerned about my constant access to the company computers over VPN and the old saying that you're only as strong as your weakest link, and what if there was something in my computer could get into the company system, get past their anti-malware systems and so forth. So what are some of the cybersecurity tips for remote employees that you want folks to know about?
Working from home is not going away anytime soon. In fact, it's become even more prevalent now. And a lot of employees actually are switching jobs specifically because they want to be able to work from home, and their bosses are saying, no, you got to come back to the office. So they're looking for alternatives. But when you work from home, you really need to be extra vigilant. So the bad guys know that if you're working from home, you're less likely to be impacted by the company's IT department or whoever's in charge of IT. So you're kind of a lone wolf out there, kind of. So they love to try to do things like do phishing and also what is now called vishing, where they call you at home, then say, hey, I'm from the IT department. I need you to let me control your computer, or I need to log into your account. So give me your credentials. And because people are less likely to be aware of those situations working from home, they're more likely to stumble into these kind of social engineering attempts. So be extra vigilant about phishing, getting emails that look like they're suspicious and that you think they're suspicious. They probably are. And you need to flag those and call your IT department or your IT service provider and say, hey, I think somebody's trying to get me to do something I shouldn't be doing. So that's one thing you should be doing. Secondly, make sure that if you're using a computer that is supplied by your company, that it's up to date in terms of the security software that's installed on it. Sometimes those systems, because they're not connected to the corporate network directly, kind of don't get the updates and all the other things that they need to be getting on a regular basis. So make sure that your anti-malware is up to date. If you're using a computer that's connected via VPN, make sure that the local firewall, that is the software that Microsoft provides and Apple provides to do firewalling on your local system, is installed and working correctly. If you're going to be connected to your own internal Wi-Fi at your home to connect up to your office, make sure it's secured. Have a passcode. Don't just do an open Wi-Fi where anybody can connect up into it, because if they can connect up to that same network that your PC is on, they can get access to your PC, which is not a good thing.
Now, if someone is using a Wi-Fi extender at home because they've got an upstairs and a downstairs and their regular Wi-Fi router doesn't reach all areas of their house, so they buy one of those little Wi-Fi extenders, a lot of times they just plug into a jack on the wall, they pick up the signal and they amplify it. Do they carry along whatever safety precautions or protocols that you have activated in your main router?
Yes. So the extenders, all they really do is extend the signals. So whatever security protocols you've installed, including having a password or passcode for your SSID that's secure, that will carry through that extender. It won't eliminate that at all. So even though you're using an extender, you're still in good shape.
Anything else that people should try and do? And I noticed that one thing that you did mention was watch out for vishing. That's where you'd get a telephone call from, some hackers and they claim to be from the IT department. I would imagine this would be more for people that work for large corporations, because obviously if you're working for a small local company, you're going to know who the IT person is. And if it's not that person calling you on the phone wanting access, that's going to be a red flag.
Yeah, exactly. And because so many people are now working remotely, they don't have to be geographically, located near their companies. So, I know people who live in Monterey Montgomery County that work for companies on the East Coast and even companies in Europe that they're doing work for. So, sometimes you don't even know who the IT department is because you just never went to the headquarters office and met them. So you have to be extra vigilant. And bad guys have done a really, really good job of figuring out how to get information from companies that they can exploit. Don't think that just because you're a person working out here by yourself that somehow you're immune to this. You are the prime target because they know that you're the most likely person to be the weakest link in the chain to get into that company's systems.
And obviously, if you get a text as well with a link, don't click on it because that is a means of trying to get into your systems, right? To install some sort of malware on your phone or on your computer. And then the other thing you have to watch out for is on the voice phishing. When you get a telephone call and they're using some sort of spoofing service, you have to be very careful with how you answer the telephone because I know that we had talked about this a couple of years ago, but let's say that somebody calls up, you don't recognize the number, but it has a local area code, so you answer it. You say, hello, and they say, is this Luis Alvarez? And you say yes. Well, what they might be trying to do is record your voice print, you saying the word yes, because then they are going to hold on to that, they store that, and they are going to try to access your bank account or something like that. And sometimes when you are calling your bank to do some telebanking, you will be asked yes or no questions. And that's why they want your voice saying the word yes. So what you should do when a telephone call comes in and the person, especially if they sound like they're in a boiler room or something calling from far away, is you say hello. And then if they ask you your name, you don't answer yes or no. You say, who is this?
Exactly.
And then if they still won't answer, you hang up on them and then you immediately block that number.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think be suspicious and be ever vigilant is really the best advice we can give anyone that's working from home.
All right. Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, has been our guest today on Power Talk Radio. Online, alvareztg.com. @AlvarezTG is the Twitter handle. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.